Welcome back, and despite what you see, I assure you, it's time to garden. We're due for a lot of rain this week, so they say, should melt a lot of this. And then we're looking at a nice old mud pit, which I suppose is an upgrade. But today, we're back in the shop. All right, so another day in the shop. We're sowing seeds. It's still miserable outside, but the sun is coming, we hope. Today we're starting snapdragons and nicotiana. Now nicotiana is from the nicotine family. I would have pronounced this nicotiana had I not looked it up. But Google says nicotiana or nicotiana. So Google wouldn't lie to us. Monty Don says it's one of the most lovely smelling flowers in the garden. I tried it last year, could not get it to germinate. I didn't fuss with it too much, so this year I want to give it another shot while the seeds are still good. Got 3 kinds of snapdragons we're going to give a shot. All of them need to be surface sowed, and I'm going to try spreading some vermiculite on top to hold the moisture in this year, so hopefully they can germinate a little better, especially in nicotiana. Snapdragons didn't do too great last year either, but again, I just grew too many vegetables last year and I just didn't focus on flowers. I love having flowers in the garden. The garden is right up next to the house, so you look at it every time you come home and every time you leave, and when you're standing outside chilling with the dogs or having a beverage, the garden's right there, so you want it to look pretty too, and the flowers bring in the pollinators. Just a lot of benefits to having a lot of flowers in your garden, and a lot of them are easy to grow, like marigolds, super simple, alyssum, super simple, calendula, real easy too. These two, a little more fussy, starting them earlier. So I still have some of these 6-packs from last week that we filled up and never used for the leeks, so we're going to give those a shot. I think what I'm going to do is do 1 6-pack of the white snowflakes, 1 6-pack of the rose snapdragons, 2 6-packs of this maximum blend. I got these in 2024, so they're a little older, so I don't know how they'll germinate. We'll give them a shot. And we'll try 2 of the nicotiana. So let's start with the white snowflake snapdragons. If you never grew snapdragon before, highly encourage you to give it a shot. They're really cool looking. And these seeds are really small. I'm actually going to move this out of the way because I'm going to need some space here. These seeds are super tiny. So these are about the size of a broken off piece of pencil lead. So I'm just going to do, I don't know, trying for 4 or 5 on top of this. I don't know if I'm doing it because they're so tiny. Don't overthink it that though. So there's your white snowflake. And I should probably label these, so let me get my labels out quick. Okay, got our labels all set up now. So this is our white snap. Get him squared away. Let's do the rose next. Again, really tiny seeds. Trying not to spill these in the soil so I don't get like random snapdragons, though I suppose that wouldn't be such a bad thing. And normally I would do 2 or 3 seeds per cell, but I can barely see these, and like I said, last year I had a lot of difficulty getting these to germinate. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention to them enough. So a little more won't hurt. You can always thin it out. And I didn't buy any of these this year. These are all just left over. And now the tall maximum blend snapdragon. These are a multicolor kind. There's a ton of seeds in this one, so doing 2 cells of these, or 2 trays, I should say. So the first year that we had our garden here, I didn't grow any flowers. I was just trying to grow peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers, you know, all the normal stuff you grow in the summer. And it wasn't until I was like doing more research, I thought, you know, you can just grow flowers in between a lot of these vegetables. A lot of these vegetables, the way they grow, like tomatoes, for example, they grow up, you thin out the bottom, so you have all this extra space left open on the bottom where the soil is just exposed, so why not grow flowers there? Okay. All right, all labeled up. And then last but not least, nicotiana. Let's see if we can do a little better this year. Boy, a pack within a pack, that's never a good sign for ease. And this stuff, this is like dust. This is probably why I did not succeed last year. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. This will probably be the first failure of the year, but maybe not. That's why I'm trying it. You always hope for the best. And I've never seen one of these flowers in someone else's garden. I don't know if it's more of like a British thing or I'm just ignorant of people with really beautiful gardens. But I'll try again. And judging from what's left in this packet, I can probably try for the next 6,000 years because they sent you a ton of seeds here. All right, you know, slow start to the year. I get the onions and all that stuff started first, which what we did last week. And then some of the fussy flowers this week. Next week, I'm not really quite sure. Hopefully by then everything's melted out there. I can get out there and actually do stuff in the garden. Got a lot of different repair work probably. Who knows what happened with this snow and all the mud and everything. But first couple weeks are light. Around March 1st is when I start doing a lot of the sowing. The brassicas, I believe I start peppers then. So it gets busy real fast. So you try to enjoy the January, February spurt where you're just getting back into it. You're still kind of tired from last year. Daylight savings hasn't happened yet here in America, so we're all tired because it's always dark. And now I'm just going to take the vermiculite and just get a nice layer on top. Hopefully this helps out this year. I wouldn't probably buy vermiculite, but I bought a huge bag of it thinking I was going to use it to amend some of the more compacted beds that we have. When we put this garden in, I ordered soil from 2 different places around me just to see which was best, which worked best for my application. And the one soil was really compacted, a lot of topsoil in it, a lot of clay, which is kind of notorious here in Pennsylvania. And I'm really trying to amend that. So I bought some vermiculite thinking I would use the vermiculite to do that, but honestly I would need so much, it just wouldn't be worth the money. And it's pretty expensive. So instead, what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to grow potatoes in 2 of the beds. I usually try not to do a lot of digging in the beds. I wouldn't say I practice no dig or no till, but it is easier. And probably you're better off not messing with the soil all that much if you don't have to. No one's digging up the soil in the forest and everything grows pretty good out there. So as you're going to hear me say time and time again this year, I'm trying to keep it easy and simple. So if I don't have to do a ton of extra things to the soil, all the better. Try to make most of my own compost and mostly amend with that. But if you grow potatoes, you have to naturally dig them up. It's going to till the soil. And realistically at this point, that's what that soil needs. You'll see once we get out there in the garden proper. All right, so this looks pretty good to my eye. We'll go inside, get it bottom watered, see how it does in the next few weeks. If we don't get any germination, we'll try again. Same with the celery last week. Started the celery out. Takes about 2 weeks. I'm going to show you what's going on inside under the grow lights. All the onions and everything look great. Celery hasn't come up yet. I kind of expected that. Usually it's 10 to 14 days for that in my experience. So if that doesn't come up by next weekend, we'll just do it again. All right. This is the little grow setup we have inside. Wanted to give you a quick update on the onions that we started last week, the leeks, the scallions. We have some indoor lettuces we've been doing all winter. This is some iceberg coming in nice. And this is our romaine. A little crinkly on the bottom, got them kind of crammed together, but hey, it's free lettuce and hasn't been sprayed with anything, so we like it. So let's take a look at the onions and leeks first. So take a look here. As you can see, we had some really good germination. Let me try and zoom you in here. We had some really good germination so far. The leeks especially. The onions always take a little bit longer, but I only did about 2 or 3 per cell on the Walla Wallas, and they're coming up really good. Got a couple empty cells, but I think within the next week, we should be looking pretty good on the onions. And then this is what we started today, along with the scallions from last week. So, as expected, celery. Oh, if I can work this camera here. There we go. As expected with the celery, not doing much. I would think by next weekend we'll have some germination. If not, I'll do it again. like I said, celery is pretty finicky. So, you know, when in doubt, just try it again. Scallions looking real good. We multi-sowed them. We're going to leave all of them. If we have a few cells where I over-sowed by like 8 or so, we'll maybe trim it back. This is what we started today, our snapdragons and our Nicotiana. And got the vermiculite on top, bottom watered and everything, and did a little light misting on top. So they should be good to go. And then we'll see what's to start next week. Not too much. We're kind of waiting until March 1st. So I'm hoping that by next week, most of the snow has melted. We can get out there and do some stuff in the yard finally. We really need it. So till next time.